Hello, hi, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Today I'm going to be redrawing offensive anti-Irish art. And if you're wondering why, then watch my previous video because I basically address all of the most common questions that I get about my little series. So before I get into the video, I just want to say that the feedback I got from my last video is that I need to make my videos more interesting. I'm sorry, I'm really not used to YouTube and I usually make my videos on TikTok where I only have 1 minute to film. So I would appreciate any and all constructive feedback as well because I do want to make good content. And right now I just know in the future I'm gonna look back at my first few videos and I'm gonna cringe at how bad I am at everything. Also, please like and subscribe so I can post more content regularly. So I have a series where I redraw racist art, but so many people have been asking me to do the Irish, which I didn't do for 2 reasons. Firstly, I was ignorant. I didn't understand because the Irish were white and I hadn't previously seen any anti-white art. Secondly, because my series was only about races because that's what I'm passionate about, that's a topic that interests me the most, and the Irish is too specific to be included as a race. But then I realized that this is my series and I can pretty much do whatever I want with it. My aim was to sort of educate people and address these ignorant stereotypes and replace them with something positive. And I realized that I was only limiting myself, and it was something that I wanted to do because it not only educates other people, but it educates me. I love culture and I love diversity and I love the idea of learning more about it. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys as well a little history about anti-Irishism. I don't think that's a word, but that's what we're going to call it. But I think I really learned a lot, which is why I like doing this series. So I was like, yes, I am going to do the Irish. Also, I had a lot of requests and it is something I did want to learn more about. Also, I do want to add a little disclaimer as well to say that I'm not some sort of activist. I do race and culture because those are topics that I'm passionate about and interested in. I know that there are so many other stereotypes, but as of now, culture and race are what I'm really interested in addressing. So I don't want anyone to feel bad just in case I don't do other topics that other people are more interested in. Okay, so I think that's enough rattling on for right now. Let me actually talk about the video. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm actually not a historian. So everything I learn is from the internet and it's new information to me as well. So I don't have a deep understanding of this topic. So please, please, please feel free to correct me if I make any mistakes. I would genuinely appreciate it and I wouldn't want to misinform people. Also, I feel like I've never had an interest in history before, but now that I've started this series, I found history extremely interesting and I realized that I've looked into a lot of history and I've done a lot of research. Yeah, so that doesn't really add to the video, but I'm just sharing that with you guys. Okay, so where has this anti-Irishism come from? And again, I know that isn't a term, but that's just what we're gonna call it because it's easier, okay? So I did a little digging and I found that a lot of it all goes back to the potato famine, which is probably the little Irish history that I knew before. But even before that, there were tensions between the British and the Irish. It was all tied into religion, and the Catholic Church at that time felt the need to invade them because they saw the Irish as a filthy, barbaric people. Despite Irish being white, there was a separation between the British and the Irish because the Irish were basically viewed as savages. They were seen as a sinful people, and basically that the British Catholics felt that they needed to bring their religion to them because they were so different. The very ironically named Enlightenment period brought about the science of racialism. This was used against the Irish to say that they were such a barbaric people, despite the fact that they also had white skin. The only rational solution is that they must be a different species, which is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's just wild to hear. So, bringing it back to the potato famine, because of the famine, a lot of the Irish immigrated and a lot of them moved to America, and there they faced a lot of discrimination. It didn't help that the British already had a negative view of them, or that a lot of the Irish immigrated into America, which probably felt to them like an invasion. And I'm not trying to justify the anti-Irishism, I'm just trying to paint the picture. Whenever they arrived, they were not welcomed, and people didn't want to give them jobs, so they ended up working lower down jobs such as policemen, which back in the day wasn't seen as a good job. They were also ostracized with black people, which was another excuse for people to see them as less than, because of course black people were also discriminated against. And the one thing that I really struggled to get over is the Irish being seen as a different race to other white people because of the way that people wanted to discriminate against them. It actually blows my mind, and I just don't understand it. And do you know what this makes me think of? The stereotype that the Irish are drunks, which is a stereotype that people still use to this day and will proudly say in public. And it's interesting to me because people say it as a light-hearted, funny stereotype, but do they really understand where this stereotype came from? How the Irish were shown as subhumans, that they carried diseases, that they were lazy and ape-like. They brought up their own pubs as a way to assimilate into culture and to get themselves out of poverty, only to be mocked for it and to be told that they were just lazy drunks. I really don't know. It's just a stereotype that I hear a lot, and it's just interesting to see how dark the history is behind that simple stereotype. But then this brings me on to the actual drawing, because this is something that I wanted to address with my art. The anti-Irish art basically depicts them as poor, lazy, drunk, stupid apes in the literal sense that they would depict them as animals, which again, I'm not great at editing, so I can't really stick them in here, but I'll probably put them on the thumbnail and at the beginning of my TikTok video. With my own art, of course, what I wanted to do was to go in the completely opposite direction. So, because the anti-Irish art is old, I wanted to make my drawing a sort of old school 1800s type of guy, which is a little ironic to me because the art style, and specifically digital art, is so modern, it doesn't really mesh well or give that old feel, but I did do my best anyways. I tried to put him into a fancy old-timey suit, and I tried to make him look rich. I don't really know what the proper attire is for the rich and the poor, but it just looked nice to me, so I was like, I'll just stick it in there. He is, of course, a very well-groomed, clean, well-taken care of gentleman with a quirky beard, which I found on Pinterest. But of course, that's anti the idea that they were poor and lazy and they didn't work hard and they didn't take care of themselves. I wanted to make him into a proud man because the Irish back then had every right to be proud of who they were, so I gave him a cute little shamrock badge with a crucifix necklace. Can I add that they probably did not wear either of those things back in the day, but we can just pretend that we don't know that because I wanted to add it in and I thought it added to the picture, so yeah, it's just in there even though it's probably not historically accurate. And finally, one of the last little details is that I put him in front of the very iconic Temple Bar because he is a proud bar owner. and he should be proud of being hardworking and bringing himself up. And I don't know why I'm talking about this drawing like they're a person, because they're really not, but I don't know. He's just so proud, and I just really like the way it turned out. I do have to add though that I really suck at drawing backgrounds, which is why I never do them, and I mean actual proper scenery and backgrounds, as you can tell. So it was also a bit of a learning experience for me. I know it's not the best, but hopefully I'll get better the more I practice. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new, and that you like how my drawing turned out. Please leave a like and subscribe so I can put out more content, and hopefully I'll see you on my next video. Have a lovely day. Bye!